Hello students, hope you all are doing well and you all are doing good in your studies, I know. So we've been studying inertia and momentum in the last classes, in the last videos, and I've seen the views. So I know how many of you have seen. So if you've seen and if you know what is inertia, so today we'll move on to Newton's first law of motion. Okay? What is Newton's first law of motion? You will understand better with the help of this video. So just go through it quickly.
Imagine you're sitting on a recliner chair watching your favorite movie on a lazy Sunday. And your mom calls out your name and asks you to run some errands. You can imagine how difficult it would be for you to get up and do the work. Imagine you're practicing for your 100 meters race on this track, and somebody asks you to stop immediately within a second. Will you be able to do it? What if you're suddenly asked to turn towards the right? Will you be able to turn immediately? The answer to both the questions would be a no. You can stop, yes, but gradually. You can also turn, but not sharply. And guess what? It's the same story with every object. Every object will continue to do what it's doing. If it's at rest, it will remain at rest. And if it's in motion, it will stay in motion. But what can change this? Yes, only an unbalanced force can change this. If it's at rest and an unbalanced force acts on it, it will move. If it's in constant motion and an unbalanced force acts on it, it may accelerate or change direction. And this is nothing but the Newton's first law of motion. Here's the correct definition. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and the same direction, unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. In simple words, it means that the objects continue to do what they're doing unless some external unbalanced force acts on them. We can also understand this using a simple diagram. If the forces are balanced, there can be two cases. An object may be at rest, or an object will be in motion at a non-zero constant velocity in a particular direction. These can be the only two cases when the forces are balanced. In the first case, the object will continue to remain at rest, and in the second, the object will continue to stay in motion at the same velocity and in the same direction. Don't forget, these two cases will remain true only if the forces are balanced. In the next video, we will look at a few applications of the first law of motion.
So what did we learn in the previous class? We learned about inertia and momentum. So what is inertia? The tendency of a body to remain in its state of rest or of uniform motion. This is called inertia. That means what? That means if a ball is lying here and it is at rest, then it will continue to remain in its state of rest. It won't want to move and it will resist moving from its state. That means it will remain in its position. Till when? Till an external unbalanced force is applied. So, to change a body's state of rest, an external unbalanced force is required. Similarly, if a body is moving, let's say because of this force, this ball starts moving, then it is in uniform motion now. Why uniform motion? Because we are saying that there is no acceleration, so it is covering equal distance in equal intervals of time. So it is having uniform motion. Now this ball is moving in uniform motion and it is having inertia of motion now. Okay, because it has come into motion, so it is having inertia of motion and will want to move in its motion. It will want to continue with its motion indefinitely. That means it won't come to rest on its own. Now to stop it, what is required? And another external unbalanced force. That means a boy could have come and stopped this ball over here. So this ball now will stop, or its state of motion will change only in the presence of an external unbalanced force. So this is inertia. A body at rest will continue to be in its state of rest. A body in motion will continue to be in its state of uniform motion. This is inertia. Based on this, how do we define Newton's first law of motion? So, Newton's first law of motion says that Newton uncle gave many laws, and Newton's 3 laws of motion are very famous. And he gave this law saying that a body at rest will continue to be in its state of rest, and a body in motion will continue to be in its uniform motion unless and until an external unbalanced force is applied. Unless and until acted by upon an unbalanced external force. That means if a body is at rest, it will remain at rest forever. It will not move on its own. How will it move? When an external unbalanced force. Remember, unbalanced force has to be there to change the state of a body. Similarly, if a body is moving, it will continue to move forever and ever till an external unbalanced force is applied to stop its motion. This is Newton's first law of motion. Let's see some examples or applications. So we can quickly study the applications of Newton's first law of motion, the examples which we can see in our daily lives. The first one is a book lying on a table. What do you think? That a book lying on a table, and a book is lying on a table and you are sitting somewhere, let us say on your bed, and you want that book to come towards you. How will it come? Will you give a call to that book, come over here, and it will come to you? No. Obviously, you will have to get up, pick it up and bring it to you. Or someone else, you will have to ask someone else to bring that book to you. So why that book doesn't come to you on its own? Because of its inertia, and balanced forces are acting on the book. They are acted upon by balanced forces. I told you weight mg is acting downwards and normal reaction is acting upwards. Both are equal and opposite, so they cancel out each other. So the book lying on the table will continue to lie on the table unless and until an external unbalanced force is applied. What will be the external unbalanced force? Someone coming and picking it up. Okay. Similarly, a ball thrown by a bowler. When a bowler bowls a ball towards the batsman, then what will happen? That ball is in motion. So it will continue to remain in that state, in that direction of motion, unless and until the batsman hits it. What will the batsman do here? When the batsman hits the ball, it accelerates and it changes the direction, right? The ball went this way, the batsman hit it, and the ball went in another direction. Plus, the velocity of the ball might increase, the velocity of the ball might decrease. That means there is change in its state of motion. Because of what? Again, an external unbalanced force. Similarly, there are other examples like when a person is sitting in a train and in a obviously train at rest, and the train suddenly starts moving. What happens? The person gets a backward jerk because of inertia of rest. So, the Newton's first law of motion is also called law of inertia because it is based on the law of inertia, that a body at rest will continue to be in its state of rest. A body in uniform motion will continue to be in its uniform motion unless and until acted upon by an external unbalanced force. So I hope you understood Newton's first law of motion. Please write it in your copies, make your pen notes with this and write the law and its examples and applications. Right? We'll study the next law in the next video. Thank you.